So the infrastructure bill, let's talk about it. That's what we're diving into here today. And let's rewind the clock one day back to Monday. We saw the S&P hit another all-time high, and the most volatile period of trading yesterday was right at the market open when we saw a major rotation from the value and cyclical sectors over to large cap growth and tech. And we'll dive into why that happened a little bit later here in the video. Now, fast forward to yesterday, Monday, we saw a good bit of volatility, and that was caused primarily because of these renewed concerns about a Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus. But let's first dive into the infrastructure bill and talk about that and look at how it's going to impact markets going forward. So we're going to look at three things today. What happened with the infrastructure bill? Is the bill likely to be passed? And lastly, what does it mean for the markets? Okay, so first and foremost, to be very clear, the market absolutely does care about the bill. Number one, it means economic stimulus. And as we all know, more stimulus is going to equal, or should equal, a stronger economic recovery, especially for value and cyclical sectors, again, which is why we saw a good bit of rally on Friday in the value and cyclical sectors from the announcement by President Biden that a deal had been done or something to that effect. And then he walked back those comments on Monday, which is why we saw some good volatility in the markets. And we also saw that large cap growth and tech outperformed value and cyclical. So that's why we saw that happen from Friday to Monday. I also think it's really important here to remember that even if this infrastructure bill gets passed as is, it's still not even going to come close to the amount of COVID stimulus that we've seen being pumped into the economy over the last 15 months. And here's what I mean by that. So as it stands right now, the infrastructure bill is sitting at about $1 trillion. Yes, $1 trillion with a T. $1 trillion. About $600 billion of that is new spending designed to improve infrastructure, but that's scheduled to be done over the next 5 to 8 years. So it's a much smaller amount of money that's coming into the U.S. money supply, much smaller than we saw with the COVID-19 stimulus programs that were rolled out. So bottom line here, if the new bill is passed as it's proposed, it's going to be a relatively small positive for markets, but definitely not a bullish game changer. So that's the first component of this. Second, is the bill likely going to get passed? Well, that's anybody's guess. So I think the short answer is maybe. At this point, negotiations seem to be a little muddled at best. It's unclear right now, among other things, it's unclear right now if the GOP will support a bipartisan bill and if the Democrats have enough votes to pass the both bills, the infrastructure bill and also what's being known as the human infrastructure bill, which is designed to attack certain social issues, etc. But hidden in there are some pretty big tax hikes, namely corporate tax hikes. And so I think that's important to keep in mind here. So that's number two. Is it likely to get passed? My answer is maybe. It's really unclear at the moment, and negotiations are muddled at best. Now, let's look at from a market standpoint. What does all this mean from the market? So we're going to look at three different scenarios from a market standpoint and the market's likely reaction. Number one, if the infrastructure bill passes on its own with no human infrastructure bill as part of that, then that means we're not going to see the corporate tax increases that we would have seen had both bills passed. So the net economic impact of that would be more stimulus, but no new taxes. So in the eyes of the market, that is the best case scenario. Second best would be, from a market standpoint, if nothing happened, mainly because there would be no new tax increases. And the absolute worst thing that could happen, again, in the eyes of the market, is that both bills pass, but there's not really a material economic boost to the economy. As we said, the the amount of money in that kind of bill is far less than what it was with all this various COVID-19 support. So if we see both bills pass, there's really not going to be a material game changer from an economic recovery standpoint. And we're also going to see at the same time an increase in taxes, namely corporate taxes, which an increase in corporate taxes is going to immediately reduce 2022 expected earnings. And there are some analysts and experts that say it could even potentially reduce 2021 Q4 earnings estimates. And so that would be a new unexpected headwind on equities and markets as a whole if both of those bills passed. So again, thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful and relevant as always. Yes, it's summertime in the Augusta, Georgia area, which means it's hot, which means I'm sweating. So I will let you guys go get on without your day. Thanks again for watching. Keep doing great things. Have a great evening. Take care.